Okay, students, I felt like today's class was a little bit confusing, so I'm going to I'm going to take a little bit of time to try to make a more concise and easy to understand um, video tutorial on how to do what we worked on today. That way, if you missed class or you didn't understand it, you can fix the problem. We're going to start a workbook. Now mine opens up differently than yours. Don't worry about that. And also this stuff is basically the same as you will see in your toolbox. Just they're at different places and they look a little different sometimes. But don't worry about that too much. So first things first, in cell A1, we're going to put name. And then in cell B2, we're going to put birth date. And I'm going to actually zoom in a little bit so you can see better what this looks like. And then I'm going to put my name. And then if it ever goes a little bit past the line, you can always double click right here. You may have forgotten that. We're going to put this into different formats. We've got general in A3, and we're going to apply these formats to the column next to it. So we got general, then currency, and then accounting. And then below that we're going to go time and scientific. And these are all names for different formats, number formatting. I'm going to put my birth date here, and as long as you write the birth date in right, it's going to come up something like this. You might find it easier, rather than doing this, to write it more like you see right here. You see it has slashes, so if you go month first, then day, then the year, it's going to write it the same way. Okay. Now we're going to reference that cell with everything that we do. So on this one, we're going to set up equals B2, and then we're going to hit enter. Then as you go down, it's going to keep them all the same. Okay. Now we're going to apply to this cell, to B3, number formatting. Then we're going to go currency in B4, accounting in B5, time in B6. Mine does it a little differently than yours probably will. Yours will probably say 0:00. That's what we've seen. And then this one we'll do scientific. And remember, if you forget, they're all right here. So you can pause it and catch up. Now, as we continue, I'm going to hit equals, and I'm going to reference B2, and I'm going to add 1. And the reason I'm doing this is I just want to see what happens as we to each format as it changes the date by 1 day. Then we're going to fill this over, and we really only have to do a few cells, say to F2. And then if we highlight all of these, we can fill these over as well. So notice I have the cursor on the black plus sign, and then I fill that out. You notice the number signs. That means that the answer is too big for the cell. So if you just do this in each one, I'm just double clicking, okay, it resizes the cell automatically. Now you can spend some time at this point to format. I would prefer to wait until later, because now we're going to add some things. Now you need to know how to rename a sheet, and you can do that 2 ways. You can right click on it and say rename, or you can double click on that sheet and say my data. Then what we're going to do is that we're going to copy it. Now the way it looks in yours is actually exactly like this. We got create a copy, and we can move it to the end or keep it before, it doesn't really matter. And then we're going to rename that to the person whose data you're taking it from. It can be your neighbor in class, or it can be anyone that you know, really. And so I'm going to call this one Ben Dover. And you change the name to the individual you are taking his information from, or her information from. Change the name to whatever, or not the name, but the date to whatever year, or the date that their birthday is. Now notice as soon as I put that in, it changed everything for us. That right there makes things, that if everything changed from here over and here down, then you know that you put in things right. Now if it didn't, double check your formulas. Now if you don't have your formula bar, you're going to want to go down here to the formula builder, and that will bring up an option to see that, or you can double click to see, but keep in mind if you try to click outside of it, it's going to add cells to it. So if you do that, just hit escape, and or you can hit enter and then undo. That works too. Okay, so now we have those two things. Now we're going to create a third sheet, and I'm going to say difference in age, and I'm going to set this up first, and then we'll put in the equation. So right here, this is going to be days, and right here is going to be years. Okay. Now this is going to be exactly. I'm not going to like say this many days and this many years, but they're going to be the same number, just in different formats. So I'm going to hit equals. Then I'll come down to the bottom of the page, click on the individual's, the other person's information. Unless, if they're older than you might want to put them second, just so your data is not a negative number. But I'm going to put this person here, minus. Don't click anywhere else. You need to make sure that you only click in the area that you want data from, and then you hit the minus button on your keyboard, and then my data, hit B2 there as well, and then you hit return. And it takes you back here. Now this right here, that's the number of days. It might come up on your page as a date, in which case you just change it to general, and then you'll have a difference in days about like this. To convert that to years, you hit equals, and then you click on A2, and you do divided by 365.25 to account for leap year, and then you hit the return button, and you have what you need. Then all that you have left to do is to add borders and shading, however you want to make it look. It's up to you on each one of these sheets, and then turn it into classwork in Excel. I think that the assignment is called. Thank you. Let me know if you have any questions.